everyone, welcome to uzosfoodlabs. Today I'm pretty excited to be showing you a very simple dish that takes a traditional ingredient and tweaks it and makes it a little non-conventional. I'm talking about using crayfish, right? Heads and all. For my Nigerian audience, you will recognize them. They're sold as street snacks on Lagos Island, and they're just crayfish or prawns that are lightly seasoned, usually just with salt and deep fried. Sometimes people just snack on them on their own, or some people add them to traditional soups. I don't necessarily like them on their own. One day I was sitting down and I thought they would taste better with some garlic, and next thing you know, this whole thing had happened. So I'm going to be sharing with you something that has become a favorite in my home that you can have with pasta or just have with some crusty bread. Spicy garlic crayfish. Now we're going to be making this dish in a wok. Key to cooking in a wok, you need to have all of your ingredients ready because things go very, very fast. Everything about this dish just speaks to my soul. It is not a shy dish at all. This is full on flavor. This is the girl that enters the party and says, everybody look at me. So if you like, mild flavors and genteel English accent type food, this is definitely not the dish for you. But I urge you to give it a try because it's something different and again, easy to put together and relatively inexpensive as well. So I have my wok heat under my wok. Again, another tip for cooking with a wok, it has to get very, very hot, or else you're just going to be wasting your time. The shape of the wok is not also for decoration, it is also for you to cook along the sides. So as I cook, you'll notice that I'm going to be moving the food up and around the sides, and that's because the sides also conduct heat. So if you're only cooking at the base of your wok, then you're doing your wok a disservice. So yeah, that wasn't a very smart idea, but it's hot now. So I'm going to start with some butter. Now, again, this is not calorie happy. If you're on a diet, probably not a good idea for you, but we only live once. So I have my butter here into the pan. It starts to melt immediately. I'm going to add some olive oil. And the thing is, when you are cooking with butter, you need to supplement it with some olive oil. The reason is because butter has very high fat content, which means that it will burn very, very fast. And so when you add the olive oil, you sort of slow that process down. And olive oil has a little bit of a flavor as well. Another thing you need to know, when you're cooking with garlic, you need to add your garlic early on because garlic burns very fast. So if you're waiting for the butter to melt in the oil, by the time the garlic hits it, it's going to be burnt to a crisp. What you want is for the garlic to begin to release its flavors in the oil, and so you begin to get that magic infused oil butter flavor. Stir around. Again, when you're cooking with a wok, you do it a disservice if you keep everything still. You need to be agitating everything that you're cooking so that the sides and all parts of your wok are being used. It moves very, very fast, so you need to have all of your ingredients ready. Chili peppers, these are the slim, long ones. They'll be called Thai bird's eye chilies in some places. Bottom line is the long, skinny ones, and so they're very, very hot. Add as much or as little as you want. I wish you could be here. The smell in here is something to behold. Now, I'm not adding any salt or pepper or anything other than the chilies in here because the prawns have their own flavor, their unique flavor. If you do research, these crayfish are one of the ones that are said to have umami flavor, which means that it has sweet and salty and everything that hits the 5 parts of your palate. And one thing I really want to try and teach you with each of the videos is that you don't need to do too much. You don't need to add too much. I find that a lot of people add all the ingredients in the world and you lose the actual flavor of the ingredients. Just invest in the best quality of raw ingredients that you can afford and magic will happen. Now I'm adding the crayfish in here. Now when I got them, they usually come dry, crispy, so that you can eat them and pop them as a snack. I soak them in some water just to rehydrate them, just so that they can get a bit more life, and then drain the water and then toss to make sure that every single one of these babies is coated with the garlic and chili infused butter olive oil mix. I'm going to add a little bit of white wine because I can, but really I like the flavor that wine adds to seafood. It's just going to give it a little something extra. Stir, stir, stir. And because it's a weekend somewhere in the world, I know, and it's, you know, late in the evening somewhere, we're gonna add a bit more wine. And don't worry, usually when you add wine to food, the alcohol cooks off. So what you're left with is the flavor and not necessarily the alcohol content. Now, butter and olive oil, everything is a little bit creamy, even though the white wine has cut some of this off. I'm going to add some lime juice, which will cut some more of that richness so that it's not overwhelming on your palate. Smells here amazing. And you have a little bit of liquid at the bottom. That's really what you want, because you're going to be using either tossing this in pasta or, you know, serve over rice with potatoes. We're just going to dunk this in some bread. And then the herb element, a fresh element always, is cilantro. Now I know that some people are hit and miss with cilantro, so feel free to use basil, use anything that you like. It's all up to you. There's no pass mark or, you know, fail mark here. Just use whatever it is that you and your family enjoy. The moment that I add my fresh herbs, I turn the heat off. I've talked a lot in these videos about not cooking your greens to death. Literally, if all your ingredients are ready, in less than 10 minutes you can have this on the table, and it looks worth a lot more than 10 minutes long. It looks like you spent all day slaving in the kitchen, and you know, sometimes it's good for people to feel like that's what you're doing. So spicy garlic a day or crayfish, done, dusted, from start to finish, less than 10 minutes. My suggestion with this dish, if you're going to serve it like this with some crusty bread, lots of napkins, wash your hands and get down and dirty with this dish. This is not, like I said earlier, this is the girl that walks into the room and takes no prisoners. So there's no finessing here. Just go in there and heads, tails and all. Some bread, because you want to mop up some of that sauce. Again, quality control. You know, I have to make sure that everything tastes good for you guys. It's bad manners to talk with your mouth full. So try this dish, you won't regret it.